I find it fascinating when films, art, even the occasional book pay homage to other kinds of entertainment. People always react with excitement when they ingest things they recognize. Some are done deliberately, also known as fan service, while there are those that are just straight up plagiarism. But there are plenty that are familiar just by chance, repeating tones or themes. Perhaps a character has a similar trait or a motive to another, or a story uses another for inspiration. But what I'm here to do today is show the uncanny similar story beats between Pokemon the first movie and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. To start things off simple, I'm going to essentially paraphrase the summary of the uncut story of Mewtwo's origin. Now for those unfamiliar, Mewtwo's origin was a 20-minute prologue to Pokemon the first movie. This was cut out of the American release because it was deemed too adult and dark. And to clarify, I love both of these films, and in no way am I trying to discredit either of them. I just couldn't look past how similar these great dark tales are, as I'm sure there was no intention by its creators to replicate such a dark and twisted tale. Yet, here we are.
Oh, there it is.
Dr. Fuji speaks of being sent on an expedition that was funded by Giovanni, the boss of Team Rocket. The journal entry, dated the 6th of August, states that the purpose of this journey was to look for Mew, supposedly the strongest Pokemon known to mankind. The reasons for this expedition are for Fuji to obtain a sample of Mew's DNA, which he would then use in an attempt to clone the creature, a project which Giovanni would fund. However, Fuji's true motives for agreeing to the project are more personal, as he wishes to use the research to recreate his deceased daughter, Amber. The team managed to acquire what they believe to be Mew's fossil, which Fuji hopes is authentic, as he would then have the genetic material he requires to create Giovanni's super Pokemon. The scientific team begins work on the cloning process, and after a period of time, Mewtwo is born. Fuji, observing the clones, hopes that his daughter will be able to live once more. He thinks back to before he begun the Mewtwo project, to when he was attempting to clone Amber in the basement of his home. His wife, however, was distraught over the loss of their daughter and became angry with his endeavors, telling him that he would never bring back Amber. She eventually left him, telling him that she loved their daughter as much as he did, but he needed to accept the fact that she was gone, and that she could not watch him continue his fruitless efforts. Later, Fuji and the scientists discuss the status of the clones, and how Giovanni will be happy to soon have the world's strongest Pokemon. As Mewtwo matures, it's very confused. It asks itself who it is, what it is, and where it's come from. Just then, it wakes in the stasis tube and breaks out. This is where Mewtwo's journey begins. Okay, now are you with me? Have you started to see some of the similarities? Sure, it's likely just a coincidence, but I find it almost fascinating, and it doesn't end there. If you've seen the film, you'd know that Mewtwo creates an island filled with clone Pokemon like himself, and as the world's strongest Pokemon and trainer, he challenges anybody to battle him, nature versus creation, God versus man. And then there's Ash Ketchum. He's a human trainer and a protagonist who is set to stop Mewtwo's plan to destroy mankind. And this really angers Mewtwo. And just as he's about to strike Ash, Mew comes to his aid. Yes, the Pokemon of Mewtwo's origin, the purest version of himself, without any tampering or darkness or pain. And of course, a battle ensues. That is until Mewtwo, a clone, realizes that both clones and originals have value, that the circumstances of one's births are irrelevant. It is what one does with their life that determines one's destiny. Mewtwo then frees the clones off the island so that they can all live in peace. So there's the Island of Clones, a mad doctor who battles with his partner when attempting to clone his dead daughter. The attempts to clone and create the world's strongest creature. The embattlement and struggle between man and nature, and realizing that life can never be contained. I think Meowth said it best. Maybe if we start looking at what's the same instead of what's different, who knows? Thank you so much for checking out this comparison between Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and Pokemon the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back. Two movies you would never think would be similar, but they are kind of similar in many ways. I couldn't help but notice it while watching it in the theater. And I love both these movies. Again, I'm not trying to knock either of them. I think there's a character in Jurassic World that says it best, a creature of the future made with pieces of the past, and I think this kind of explains and describes this comparison pretty well. Well guys, thank you so much for watching this video and supporting the channel. Again, my name is Chris, and you have just been crisscrossed. Peace out, and have a good one, guys. I say good one? Good one? I'm just slurring my words now. Bye.